let's do Gandalf. I haven't done Gandalf in a while, but I got a hat redeem. So there we go.
Bragwin said, love how Harris hopefully unintentionally validated lab leak conspiracy theories. I don't think she did. She said that the president she said that,
the thing about Xi.
Yeah, no, she said that the president of China did not take adequate measures within China.
Yeah, so that was referring to the fact that China was very, very not transparent with the fact that there was a major virus outbreaking in China, and they were downplaying their numbers and trying to hush it. And it's actually, it's been a long time since I read this, but there was, it might have been a paper, but it might have just been an article, so take it with a grain of salt, but I seem to recall seeing that, like, if they had actually had the reaction that they eventually had to COVID, where everything went total lockdown, if they had done that right away, it basically wouldn't have been a thing. So, yeah. Now, to be fair, that this is a hindsight is 2020 kind of thing, where yeah, they were hiding its seriousness when they knew it was serious. But like the degree to which they knew it was serious is not necessarily as bad as it looks from our perspective now. Anyway, Naramdaputs sent a bunch of coconuts for a $2 super chat. Thank you, Naramdaputs.
Braven says she did when she said China wasn't honest about the origins of COVID. That's been the lab leakers' talking points for years now. I mean, so here's the thing, though. China can be like let's just say the CCP. They can be dishonest about the origins of COVID in the beginning, and it also not be the lab leak conspiracy theory. Yeah. Like they can. I'll say. I mean,
I'm sure people are taking that and running with it. Like
conspiracy theorists are going to run with anything.
She also accidentally called Trump vice president or former vice president at one point.
Yeah,
and I'm actually surprised that I haven't seen the right wing pundits jump on that, being like, "Oh, she caught Biden's dementia." Yeah, Ella Mayo says hindsight is 2020, literally.
It's way more funny these days to say that.
Yeah, and indeed, I didn't even think of that when I said it. So yeah, that's oh, we got a Van Briggs in the stream. Haven't seen Van Briggs in a while. Hi, Van Briggs. Yeah. So yeah, where was I? Yeah, we're gonna watch some clips of the debate. We're gonna discuss it, and then I have an article that is debate related. It's basically the right wing's response to all the hardcore fact checking that apparently happened against Donald Trump.
Well, all of the hardcore deserved fact checking.
Yeah, but I went through and I have notes about that. Like we could spend an entire full length of my regular scripted videos on this article. Rosina, T-Rex arms or chicken legs Keller. I love your middle names all the time, Rosina. Keep it up. I love it. Two things can be true at once. Indeed they can. The leaders of the CCP could lie about its origins, and it could not be lab made.
Yeah, like it's the thing is, we as a nation already do not trust China, and for very good reason. They are not very good to their own citizens. They're involved in their own genocide with the Uyghurs. Like, there's lots of reasons not to trust anything that comes from their government. Just like we don't trust Russia for good reasons. They annexed Crimea. They're invading Ukraine. They're a very religiously orthodox country now, or at least they're trying to pretend they are.
Yeah.
There's a lot of reasons not to trust various of these nations. So it would never surprise me for any of these nations to lie about something, and the lie not necessarily mean that tinfoil Tommy over there is correct.
Yeah.
Spectacular. Thank you for the resubscription.
So Jess is saying it's almost like one side lied a lot more than another with regards to Trump being fact-checked a lot more. So here's the thing. When I'm talking about the fact-check, I'm not necessarily talking about what they did live during the debate. Because, like, yeah, I actually counted when I rewatched for this thing. They fact-checked Trump a grand total of 4 times. 5 if you stretch the meaning of what fact-check actually means.
Where they just, like, said an aside real quick and then continued on.
Yeah, but it wasn't even, like, I forget what the 5th one was, but it was, like, one of those, like, that doesn't really feel like a fact check, but they probably counted as that, so I'll give it to him. But then I saw Ben Shapiro did the same thing as me, and he counted 4. So I'm like, okay, well, if Ben Shapiro's saying 4, then that 5th one doesn't count. But here's the thing, though. Like, I listened to the Decoding Fox News fact check of the last debate against Biden, and with the count, like the total count of the number of lies he told, I forget exactly what it worked out to, but it was something like 2 lies per minute, including the minutes that he wasn't speaking. So, like, if that's the rate he's lying at, the fact that they fact-checked him 4 times means that they let a lot slide. And they did. And, but we'll get to how the moderators treated Harris, because I feel like it was very unfair to Harris. But at the same time, hopefully this was a situation where it's like, just give him the rope to hang himself, because I've seen a lot of conservative commentators talking about how Trump lost that debate. Like Ben Shapiro straight up said Harris won the debate. He was retweeting a lot of other conservative people that were saying the same thing. So yeah.
Like,
so yep, Naramda puts, I liked the questions. The questions were good. That's not the issue. We'll get to the issue. We're still in the segment that I'm going to cut out for random chit chat later. So
the moderators did seem to do a very good job of making sure that they pressed both candidates with questions. Yes. And it was interesting to me how often when a question would be posed to Harris, she had an immediate response. To quote Trump, it sounded like she knew the questions. It sounded like she knew the questions.
No, she's just competent.
But when
Plow King says Alf is the only alien I know that eats cats.
When they pressed Trump on a question, his response almost always was the default of dodge. He would try to slip away from it. Okay. He was directly.
Fair, she dodged a lot of questions too.
I'm not saying that she didn't.
But his dodges were always, but brown people, though, there's a lot of them, and I don't like them.
So he was asked about whether or not it would be good for Ukraine to win the war, if that was in the United States' best interest. And Trump would only say,
I want the war to end.
I want the war to end, or the war would have never started if I was president.
Okay. This counts as a segment into our talking about the debate segment, because I have a clip for that. Maybe we should have gone in order. Where are we? What were we talking about? The Ukraine.
Do you believe it's in the U.S. best interest for Ukraine to win this war, yes or no?
I think it's the U.S. best interest to get this war finished and just get it done.
All right.
Negotiate a deal, because we have to stop all of these human lives from being destroyed.
Yeah, so he can't say, yes, I want Ukraine to win.
He won't say it's okay for Ukraine to survive as a sovereign nation.
Yeah.
That's what he will not say.
He is refusing to say Ukraine has a right to exist. I mean, to be fair, he would probably also refuse to say that Palestine has a right to exist. Like,
yeah.
I didn't really like Harris's answer from Palestine, but I recognize that was the intelligent thing to say to appeal to more people. Yeah, and I do appreciate that she explicitly said she is pushing for a 2-state solution.
I was glad that she followed up with that, because when she was asked about Israel and Palestine, the first thing she said was that kind of peeved me off was when she said that this started on October 7th. And I'm like,
no, it's been going on for a while.
Didn't. This has been happening for a very long time.
And then using the horrible things that happened on October 7th as kind of a, like, not really, like, she didn't come out and explicitly justify the bombing of hospitals and stuff, but like that was the implication of what she was saying. She pivoted to Iran because that, like, Israel defending itself from Iran is a lot less controversial than them fighting with Palestine. So yeah, it wasn't a great answer from I believe Palestinian people have the right to exist perspective.
Yeah,
because realistically,
Like, if we're looking at it from the perspective of what a random, like, lackadaisical voter is looking at, right? Because what the point of the debate is not to energize the Democrats or energize the Republicans. I firmly believe the point of the debate is to take the 8% of undecideds and push them in one direction or the other.
Yeah.
That was the correct response to give to that
Yes.
8% that is in the middle that doesn't know where they're going to go.
Yeah.
I
And also,
think that was
like-
the right response. I also don't agree with it.
Yeah, no, but also, like, realistically, like, I've said it a million times on this channel before, I will continue to say it. When it comes to voting in American elections, you send your message with the primary vote. You vote for the most progressive candidate in the primary, and that's how you send the message. But then when it comes down to it, you vote for the lesser of two evils. You're not going to fully agree with anyone. Yes, genocide is a huge issue that, like, should be a line that does not get crossed. But, like, realistically, the United States is not going to sever their support from Israel no matter who is elected. Even if he got Bernie Sanders in office when he was running, Israel would still have America's support. That's just a thing that is going to continue to happen for the foreseeable future.
And Israel's going to continue to have that support from America and this is a very cold-hearted reason, but this is from the mouths of people within the Republican Party, even if some of it's been hush. They will continue to be supported by the United States for two reasons. The unsaid reason is the conspiratorial, we need Israel to be a nation because
that's how we bring about the end of the world.
The seventh mountain says that's how it has to happen. But the other reason that a Republican is going to be willing to say is that Israel's a trade partner of us. Like, flat out, Israel is a trade partner of the United States, and we are a hyper-capitalist nation.
Yeah.
We are always going to protect and facilitate good relationships with our trade partners before anybody else. And unfortunately, when it comes to Palestine, there's not really any exports that America cares about there. And so it's you always have to grapple with Palestine as an emotional issue, which is a good, like, grappling with the morals and ethics of Palestine is a good thing. That is a great thing. But when you're getting a bunch of people who are heartless and only care about number crunching in politics, those people are going to look at these two nations in terms of what they are worth for the American dollar. And that sucks. It is one of the major failures of capitalism. But it is also a reality we have to grapple with if we are going to talk about Israel and Palestine and, like, the right-wing voter who cares more about numbers on an economics board than people dying in the streets.
Yeah. Now, okay, so now that we've gotten the negatives from her, because, like, really, her answer on Israel was the only negative from her for the whole night. Pretty much everything.
There was another one I felt was a negative. It was at the very beginning of the debate when they were talking about housing and the homelessness crisis in the United States. The way that she addressed that was to say that there weren't enough houses, which is factually incorrect.
I must, that one slipped by me. I didn't notice that on my first or second watch through.
It was at the very beginning of the debate. It was when housing was talked about, she specifically said that we just needed to build more houses. We needed more houses for people. The thing is, with the United States, we have enough.
We need price controls.
The houses are not affordable for anybody. It's a twofold issue. The houses are not affordable for anyone, which is the first problem. The second problem is the housing that does exist, if it is not on the market, it is an Airbnb. It is some kind of money-making mechanism for someone somewhere, as opposed to a place for somebody to live. So that's the problem with the housing market.
I actually find it crazy. So the house that I'm in right now, almost no mortgage. Like, relative to what housing prices are right now, like, my mortgage is like $60K. It's nothing. And so in this house that, with the, like, I fucking bought it for 120K, and it's like in current market prices worth like probably around 500, 600,000. I don't know. But, like, given that, and given how much equity I supposedly have in my house, we're actually, like, we're not, okay, I don't know where all the kids are right now, and some of them are still awake, but and they don't know about this yet, but we are potentially looking to move into a house that is actually, like, it's about the same size as this one, but the layout is such that like we have 5 kids, and right now there's 3 of them sharing one room, and in the new house everybody would have their own room, which would be ideal because like mine are all teenagers or just about teenagers, so like they require some privacy, and yeah, so that would be great. But like it is so difficult for me with a house with massive equity to actually find another house that I am capable of buying. That should not be the case. It should be super, like, I recognize I'm in a super privileged position here. But like the fact that someone in such a privileged position as I am in, like I recognize that this is not, like, the reason my mortgage is so low is because my wife died. So my position of privilege is, I don't know, that's not necessarily the best way to go about obtaining privilege, but I recognize that I have privilege. And not everybody has this luxury. Like the luxury of having a dead wife. God. I'm sorry.
It sounds terrible.
I know it sounds terrible, but like life insurance is the thing. But that was my main thing, is like I'm going to pay down the mortgage as much as possible, because like
was given the Faustian bargain you were.
Yeah, so like my thing was like I'm paying down the mortgage because if everything else goes tits up, at least I have a place to live. But like the fact Hitchmeister 59, look at Mr. Lucky with the dead wife. I have a really dark sense of
McGee over here.
I have a really dark sense of humor, so it's okay. But actually, when I traded the van in for my car, like the person in the financing department, I forget how it came up, but like it came up that my wife had died, and my current partner was in the room with me, and the person doing the financing was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and my partner just was like, "Yeah, well, I'm not." I'm just like,
Jesus.
I find it funny. She finds it, like, we have enough rapport that we get, and I feel like the person doing the finance, like, I feel like she also had kind of a dark sense of humor, but also she's works with the public, so she can't just laugh at that stuff just in case.
She can't put it out all the time,
but
right?
it's like, it is what it is. But anyway, like, my point is, the fact that someone is as privileged as me can't just easily find somewhere to live other than where I am now means that, like, someone who is not as privileged as me, 1,000,000 times harder. So, like, yeah, it's not about how many houses there are, it's about the pricing. Like, my Heidi moved in with me a lot sooner than we were planning on, specifically because her rent went up, and she was paying, and like, if you compare this to cities, it's not going to sound like much, but like, she was paying $1,600 a month for a 2-bedroom apartment, a tiny 2-bedroom apartment.
That's
and
too much money.
Her rent was going up by like $200 a month, at the same time as her ex just decided he was going to pay less in support, and there hadn't been any, like, they hadn't gone through the court system at that time. So like, it was a combination of like, my income is going down and my rent is going up. So like, I either have to find somewhere that's going to be even worse than this to live, or I could just move in with you. And it was one of those like, yep, this feels like a long-term relationship. Like, we've been joking about feeling like we've been married for 10 years after like dating for 3 months.
Well, there you go.
So
like, if it works, it works.
But it was our 10th anniversary. 10th anniversary. It feels like our 10th anniversary. It was our 2nd anniversary yesterday.
Okay.
And one of her kids decided they were going to marry us, so we are married by her 5-year-old.
As far as the children are concerned, and they're the ones that matter the most.
So I was shopping with I explained that it was our anniversary, and they're like, well, what's an anniversary? And so I explained what an anniversary was, and like, so you got married 2 years ago? I'm like, no, we haven't gotten married. They're like, oh, okay, you're going to get married though, right?
Like, it's like, yeah, we can fix that.
Yeah, but that was the thing. Like, I was out shopping for like stuff for dinner for them while we're doing that. So it was like, okay, well, let's stop by, like, they have grocery store bouquets of flowers. Let's get a couple bouquets of flowers. And the youngest one, like, did this little ceremony thing where, like, she did, like, incantations and stuff. And it was like, it was supposed to be magic or whatever. And then she handed her a bouquet of flowers and then bowed down to her. And it was like, all hail Queen Mama. And now you guys are married. So we kind of got married yesterday. It was adorable.
Okay. Fair, I guess.
But yeah, anyways, back to the debate. Or, okay, Neuromptopus is throwing me off again. By the power vested in me by my 5 years of age and cuteness, I now pronounce you mom and dad. Please don't kiss, it's gross. Actually, so she's the one that, like, ever since they saw the Smoochy Kiss episode of Bluey, they've been like, anytime we go to kiss each other, like, no, you must not smoochy kiss, and like all the kids will get involved in separating us. But the 5-year-old decided that, like, she's a bit of a contrarian, so she's like, well, everybody else is trying to separate you, so I'm gonna like run interference for you so that you guys can smoochy kiss, and then I'll get in on that too, and you guys can like smoochy kiss my cheeks and stuff. And it's adorable. But anyway, back to the debates. The first clip I pulled was what I consider to be the #1 biggest lie of the night. So this is the biggest lie that anyone told in the debate last night.
Their microphones will only be turned on when it's their turn to speak.
That was the biggest lie of the night.
Yeah, because I did hear each of them say stuff sometimes when the other was supposed to be talking.
Well, not just that. It wasn't just that they were talking out of turn. It was that, like, and it not even here. So every time Trump started speaking, it would be not his turn. They would just turn his, like, you'd hear him echoing because his mic wasn't on. He's being picked up by someone else's mic. And then they would turn his mic on so that he could talk, and they'd give him like a minute or two to talk. Every single time. They never once denied him the opportunity to talk when he tried to interject. Not once. But then Harris,
let it happen.
Harris didn't try to interject that often. She tried twice. The first time they let her, but it was like kind of her turn anyway. The second time, this is what happened.
I just need to respond because the former president has said something twice that I need to respond to.
I'm sorry. We're going to move on, Vice President Harris. President Trump, this is now your third time running.
Yeah. So they just railroaded her and muted her microphone and was like, yeah, back to Trump. And I saw a rundown of the time that each of them spent talking. Trump got 40% more time than Harris.
Yeah, and what he did with that 40% of time
I know
this
this is kind of a give him enough rope to hang himself situation, but Harris was knocking it out of the park. She was doing phenomenal for the vast majority of the debate. It was great. So, like, I would have liked to hear more from her. So, like, but the fact that they would mute her mic when she's got things to say, but Trump is just like, okay, yeah, I guess we'll give you a minute every single time. And I timed it a couple times. When they were supposed to have 2 minutes, they gave Trump 20 extra seconds and didn't tell him that, like, it's supposed to be like a hard 2 minutes and then you get your mic cut off. But like, no, they didn't tell him it was time to cut his mic off. They didn't cut his mic off. They just let him keep going for 20 seconds longer. Harris stopped right at like 2 minutes, and I think it went to like 2:04 was the latest I saw. So like, even like not even with the interrupting, but with the actual like cutting them off when their time was up, they were much stricter with Harris than with Trump. They just let him keep on going and going and going.
There is a world though where that's actually a good strategy. Not only is it the hand your rope to the guy and let him hang himself. That's the obvious one, but also from the position of you needed the moderators to look. I'm not saying this was the plan, right? But from a narrative perspective, having the moderators look like they are on Trump's side more, and then Trump still completely fucked himself in the butt. Like, there's a story there.
So here's the thing. I recognize that was kind of what they were probably trying. So the cynic in me is like, no, Trump gets ratings, so they let him talk more, so they get more ratings. And I get that. the clips I pulled, most of them are Trump talking. There's a couple Harris points, but most of them are Trump. But if you put that aside of the, like, oh, maybe they're just chasing ratings and that's why they're letting Trump talk, because Harris doesn't get the ratings because she actually makes sense. If you put that aside, then what you end up with is they're trying to avoid being attacked by the right wing for obviously favoring Harris. I counted. They fact-checked Trump 4, maybe 5 times. Ben Shapiro said 4, so I'm going with his number. 4 times they fact-checked Trump. I counted 4, and then the 5th one was like a maybe, maybe not. So if Ben Shapiro's going with 4, I'm going with 4 as well.
He always knows what's
because,
right.
Like, out of an hour and a half, they fact-checked him 4 times, and they gave him so much extra time to talk. The right wing is still freaking out about how poorly moderated it was. They did such a horrible job. They were clearly favoring Harris. They're clearly on her side, not his side, even though they fucking railroaded her. And, like, what the fuck? So it's like, they are going to attack you if Trump loses the debate, no matter what you do. So you may as well just do your fucking job.
Yeah, I get that. I can see both perspectives on that. Like the one where you don't care about the rhetoric as much when you're dealing with a conspiracy theory person, for instance, because they're going to run with whatever you say, so you might as well say it the way you intended. Like, I get that perspective of you might as well do your job because no matter how you do it, he's gonna fuck off to the races. At the same time, though, I can't help but think of the strategic value in the attempt. Like, this is tinfoil hattie. I don't know what went on behind the scenes in any way, shape, or form, but knowing that of the 2 debaters, Kamala would be able to do more with less.
Okay. But I'm guilty of this as well, but can we refer to her as Harris instead of Kamala? It feels really weird to be referring to the female candidate as her first name, but then Trump is always Trump.
No, that's fair. I can get that. I can entirely get that. But it did there is a it's one of those things where, like, I want to be able to say that this was a strategy move, but I can't because I have literally zero evidence of it. Yeah. I recognize from a viewer perspective but then the weight that it has.
Even in the fact checking, like when I think of the fact checking for this debate, everybody's talking about the 4 times when they told Trump he was wrong about something live. I'm thinking of the official ABC fact check that went along with the debate. That was like a written article, and it was just mind-boggling the things that they would fact check. Sorry? Oh, yeah. It was mind-boggling the things that they would fact check Harris on versus the things they would fact check Trump on. It was like Trump would just tell these crazy, ridiculous lies, and then Harris, it would be something like I don't know. It was something innocuous. I forget exactly what it was, but it was like a nothing burger that, like, yeah, she got a little tiny bit of context wrong, but like they're not allowed to have notes with them. They have to do everything from memory. They're not allowed to consult with anyone or anything. So it's like the fact that she had a couple minor things wrong is honestly quite impressive. It's like she was able to remember more things off the top of her head than I would.
And my chat, where is it? I had it just a second ago. Where did it go? Shadow Wolf says Kamala Harris wants to be known as Kamala and not Harris, and she has been marketing herself that way.
Okay, if that's what she wants, then we'll go with it.
I don't want to disagree with that, but I don't know where that's coming from, because I don't.
If it's coming from her campaign, I will absolutely go with that. But for the meantime, I'm still going to be saying Harris.
Yeah, until I have something that's like, this is the exact area where she said it, or the campaign suggested it.
Fennec, I guess, is still in the housing prices. Found a $200,000 mobile home. So
the fuck.
Fun fact: part of our house searching, the person who's looking to, like, our mortgage agent, there was a typo in one of the things, and the typo suggested that, like, oh, hey, maybe I'll be able to afford to buy this house without having to sell my house first, in which case I can wait a little bit and sell it for a higher price and then buy something small and, like, have a rental property or something. And so I was looking at like the small houses, and everything that was under 300,000 was a fucking trailer. And now, to be fair, some of them were really fucking nice trailers that, like, if I didn't have 5 kids, if it was just me and my partner, absolutely, I would be perfectly happy living there.
Yeah, but you need to make sure there's space for the children.
Yeah, but so
that makes sense.
That dream got smashed when it was like, nope, that was a typo. You actually, it's not this of a down payment. It's a $350,000 down payment. Okay, I don't have that. I would need to sell my house to get that.
Shadow Wolf said that the Kamala HQ TikTok account would be a big example of the rebranding Biden HQ to Kamala HQ. I'm pretty sure that it's like an official account. Could be wrong about that.
Kamala HQ. Sorry, I know the right wing purposely mispronounces her name, and I always get it. Is it Kamala or Kamala? It's Kamala. It's Kamala.
Kamala, I believe. Yeah,
because they always say Kamala. Okay.
I think it's I think it makes sense as well because like Harris is more of a common name, whereas Kamala is a very like this is like you know who you're talking about when you say that. Unless I say Vice President Harris, in which case there's only one person I could possibly be referring to. Yeah. Like Trump is a name that it is very easy to identify. This is Trump. This is only Trump.
Yeah. But yeah, anyways, let's get to some of the fun things. So first off, I loved that she forced him into the handshake.
Oh yeah, no, this was great.
He tried to do the thing where he pulled her in, but she like planted her feet. Like he tried to pull her, but it didn't work.
Yeah. Did you hear what they said there as well?
So she introduced herself and was like Kamala.
Yeah, she pronounced her name the way it should have been pronounced.
Yeah. And then he was I hope you have fun.
Yeah, I hope you have fun.
Hope you have fun.
Okay, sure. Sure, buddy.
It was great.
We hope you have fun too, Skipper.
And then we get to, like, so the guy who wants to be the leader of the free world, as you Americans like to call your president, doesn't know how tariffs work, because he said this.
First of all, I have no sales tax. That's an incorrect statement. She knows that. We're doing tariffs on other countries. Other countries are going to finally, after 75 years, pay us back for all that we've done for the world.
Yeah, so that's not how tariffs work.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the other countries paying the money. It is the people that are importing the thing. And usually that cost is passed on to the consumers in higher prices. So, yeah, the fact that you are up there complaining about Biden causing inflation while you are proposing a 20% tariff on everything foreign, which would increase prices across the board on everything by probably 20%, if not 20% close to it, is just ridiculous. Like the fact that he doesn't know how they work.
All of the best people at his college think that his economic plans are genius, though.
And that's
how can you say that when all of the best people?
So this was one of the ridiculous fact checks. Now that I think about it, this was one of the ridiculous fact checks because Kamala Harris has been calling that a sales tax, and it's not technically a sales tax. But that is something that people understand. So she's shorthanded it to us. So they've been like, yeah, well, tariffs are not actually a sales tax. It's like, yeah, no, it's not a sales tax. But like, that was one of the things that got fact checked. And it's like, why? No, that's like, actually, okay, if you want to be realistic, it's actually worse than a sales tax, because a sales tax, like, you see the price is $4.99, then you go to the register and, oh, I have to pay $5.30 for this thing that was labeled $4.99. That's the sales tax. The tariffs, the extra cost that's in the tariffs is hidden. You don't see that. You just see a higher price. So that's a hidden tax. So it's actually worse than a sales tax.
I mean, if it's American sales tax, though, that's also a hidden tax because it's not included in the price of anything.
No, that's what I mean. It's like because it's not included in the price, you see that when you go to the register with the difference between what it is labeled as and what you're actually paying. So this is how much tax there was.
Okay, fair. I understand that a bit better.
That's actually, so personally, I actually kind of like the hidden tax model. Because like I've been to Europe, and like in the UK, the price of something on the store shelf is the price you pay at the register, so it's way easier to like figure out how much money I have right now and what I'm going to be able to get with that money. So like I actually do kind of prefer that method, but every time I've talked to Americans about it, they're always like, "Nah, we got to know what taxes we're paying. Taxation is theft." So like, yeah, the fact that tariffs are actually turned into a hidden tax in a lot of Americans' minds, that's worse than a sales tax. So the fact that she got fact-checked on that is kind of ridiculous. But then this was one of my favorite clips.
And I'm going to actually do something really unusual, and I'm going to invite you to attend one of Donald Trump's rallies, because it's a really interesting thing to watch. You will see during the course of his rallies, he talks about fictional characters like Hannibal Lecter. He will talk about windmills cause cancer, and what.
I'm a little bit disappointed that she didn't get to the sharks and electric boats.
Or the, oh, how sad for the birds. I mean, at least the windmills are talked about here.
Yeah.
Also notice is that people start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom. And I will tell you, the one thing you
nodding his head here.
Because he knows. Because he knows it's true.
And then afterwards he gets
fucking not hear him talk about is you. You will not hear him talk about your needs, your dreams, and your desires. And I'll tell you, I believe you deserve a president who actually puts you first, and I pledge to you that I will.
Vice President Harris, thank you. President Trump, on that point, I want to get your response.
Well, I would like to respond.
Let me just ask, though, why did you try to...
So what I love about this is that she flat out said to his face, you go to his rallies, he doesn't care about the American people, he only cares about himself.
Mm-hmm. And
the only thing you'll hear is him talking about himself. And his response to that, does he talk about the American people? How he can do things better for the American people? Let's find out.
Kill that bill, and successfully so. That would have put thousands of additional agents and officers on the border.
First, let me respond as to the rallies. She said people start leaving. People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. And the people that do go, she's bussing them in and paying them to be there, and then showing them in a different light. So she can't talk about that. People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics.
So when accused of not being concerned with the American people and only being concerned with superficial nonsense like crowd sizes, his response is like, actually, I have the best crowd sizes. I've got the biggest crowd sizes in American history. My crowd sizes are the greatest. It's like, yeah, that's what she was saying. That is her point. And that was
for it, hook, line, and sinker.
That was the moment that he started getting really, really angry, and like that was the moment he kind of lost it. But actually, regarding that, it kind of pisses me off how the debate commentators after the debate take Trump seriously. Because like they were talking about his performance as though he went in there with a plan. We're like, well, Trump's plan was to talk about the issues and policy and this, that, and the other, and not get upset and not get it. And like he was going to do this and whatever. But then she got under his skin and he got upset, and so he failed to go through with his plan. But I watched the debate and it was like, this is just like every other debate Trump has done.
Mm-hmm.
Like he has not broken character. He has not done anything differently. Ever. This is the same as when he was debating Hillary in 2016. Hillary fucking trounced him. Hillary knocked him to his ass in the debates. And like back in 2016, I was a piece of shit. I have videos that are no longer available on my channel that like when Trump won, I kind of like I was watching a lot of Sargon of Akkad at the time, and I was like, feminist, maybe don't do blah, 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 blah. And it was like, no, I was a piece of shit. I fully acknowledge that. But as a piece of shit, I did not want Trump to win, and I recognized that Hillary beat his ass, and I was completely flabbergasted at the outcome of the election. But
yeah, the funny thing is that she did win the popular vote, though. Like, that's the thing about American politics. Yeah. It's so backward still.
Yeah, no, I was writing a tweet a while ago. Let's see if I can bring it. I've been trying to be less active on Twitter recently because Twitter is fucking toxic and I fucking hate it. And I'm trying to just like go on to collect things for Twit tweets and nothing else. What did I say? Go back to before the debate. I'm sorry.
It's just
it's boring watching me scroll Twitter when you can't actually see what I'm scrolling.
And it's dangerous to scroll Twitter where we can see everything that you're scrolling past.
Yeah, because sometimes there might just be uncensored porn. Because it's Twitter.
It used to not be that bad about that.
So this actually comes up in the debate where he lost by a whisker or whatever. So Patriot Takes posted, Trump says he lost the 2020 election by a whisker. I was told if I got 63 million, which is what I got the first time, you would win. You can't not win, and I got millions of more votes than that, and I lost by a whisker. So I retweeted that and I said, he lost by 7 million votes. That's not a whisker. That's more than twice the amount he lost by in 2016. The Electoral College is weird.
It's also, okay, so I remember that when he said he lost by a whisker, Nick Fuentes, of all people, said, started saying that no, there's 10,000 voters that will not vote for you because you admitted we lost.
John says Twitter has uncensored porn now. Hang on, I'll be right back. They've had uncensored porn as long as I've been on there.
Time.
It's actually easier to find.
So it's gotten worse now because of the bots is the issue.
So my alt account, which is what I use to like when there's an account that's too toxic for even my main account to follow, because I follow a lot of toxic shit, I will go to my alt account and follow them there. I'll use that to circumvent blocks, whatever. And I do not post anything from my alt account. I have something like 75 followers, and 90% of them are porn bots. There's like, I don't know how I'm even getting these followers. I do not engage with anything. I actually, so fun fact, I can write community notes, but only from my alt account, because my Vice Rhino account apparently broke the Twitter rules once. I don't know when. It won't tell me when. It won't tell me what I did wrong. I don't remember.
Maybe you shouldn't break the rules then.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe do better about that.
But, yeah. Okay, there's an old CGP Grey video where 9 to 10 years ago, where he works out that it's mathematically possible to win the Electoral College with 22% of the vote. We referenced that not too long ago, and I actually left a card in whatever video I ended up clipping out of that for that. It's a good video.
Yeah. So CGP Grey has a lot of really thought-provoking videos. There's that one, and then there's the one that shows that it is with first past the post voting.
Yeah.
You will always end up with a two-party system because that's just how the math works out. Which is why every person that like goes, we can solve the problem with corruption in the Democratic Party if we just vote for Jill Stein.
Yeah. No,
we can't.
No. You really
if she just gets 6% of the vote, though.
Okay, but okay, all right, but okay. Back to the debate. Back to the debate. We have to get to this next clip. It's mandatory from this debate. We can't not cover this.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs. The people that came in, they're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. And this is what's happening in our country, and it's a shame.
Someone please tell Homer Simpson that this is happening. He needs to
funny
know.
You should say that. Okay. Both of our streams might go down at this point because copyright stuff, but this is worth the risk. This is worth the risk. It's worth the risk. I did speed it up a little bit, so hopefully it won't be caught or whatever, and it's short enough that it shouldn't. But I can't not play this. It's amazing.
We're the sauce on your
I can't hear it on my end at
all. They're eating the cats. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the pets in Springfield.
Okay. You didn't hear that, but you do know what that is, though, right?
do. I know the clip.
Okay.
I know the clip. It was good to silence me because I know the clip. They're eating the dogs in Springfield.
Yeah, it's amazing, and that was. Fennec says, "Give me your phone. No more internet for you."
Sylvie says, "What's the clip?" I don't know what the name of it is, but it's basically it's a musical segment from The Simpsons. But to Donald, it's that to Donald Trump.
So your stream couldn't even hear that.
Dogs.
I don't know.
Yeah, no, nobody could hear it.
I don't know. No, my stream heard it fine.
Yeah, but your stream, those aren't
in Springfield.
You can hear that, right?
I can hear that.
We're the South.
That's.
I heard we're the South.
So you can hear that.
We're the South.
Right. Okay. So when I'm saying I can't hear it, what I'm saying is, you know how when you are when you're fixing audio and you do noise removal and you do too much noise removal, how it it turns into water and then it turns into nothing.
Okay.
That's what that sounds like.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't hear it because it's a song.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Gotcha. So this isn't a my fault thing. I'm like, I checked fucking everything. The sound is going the same route through that thing as all the other shit. So if you can hear that, I don't know why I can't hear that. I was about to open up my GoXLR app to be like, what weird wonky shit's going on? It's like, no, it's your fault. It's your fault for once, Suris. I did the tech right for the first time.
You did the tech right for the first time in forever?
Yeah. For the first time in forever, Rhino got it right.
We finish each other's
sandwiches. That's gross. I don't share sandwiches. I don't even share sandwiches with my partner. She actually laughs at me because I won't share a cup with her because I have weird germophobic shit. So she's like, your
tongue goes in that mouth. There's nothing new that's being introduced to the fucking cup.
My tongue goes in worse places than that.
Then what the fuck is the problem, you tongue puncher?
My fucking autism is the problem, Suris.
Yes, I know. Okay, so this reminds me, when I was doing the HelloFresh sponsored cooking stream a couple days ago, when I was doing the cooking, people in chat were asking, like, oh, why do you not wear gloves when you're cooking? And like, because I wash my hands in between every step. Like, I keep going back to the sink and washing my hands and coming back in between steps.
Yeah, as you do.
And they're just like, when I do it, I have to use the, like, I use the gloves for hygiene, and I just snapped and went, none of you use gloves while cooking for hygiene. You all do it because of autism. Not a single one of you is doing it because it's cleaner. You're doing it because you don't want the texture of the food. That's what it is.
So I actually can't use gloves while cooking because there's so many, like, one of my kids is vegetarian and my partner's kids both are super duper picky eaters to the point where, like, it's like there might be something neurological going on there. Like, I know there's that. Like there is a neurological thing where people actually like cannot eat certain foods or whatever, and I think one of her kids might have that. And so it's like it's not a case of like, oh, this is what I've made for dinner, so eat it or go hungry. And like they're also young enough where it's like, I'm not going to make them go hungry. So anyway, my point is that when I'm cooking dinner, there's often like 3 separate meals going on. So like there's what I'm going to eat with my 2 youngest kids. There's what my vegetarian kid's going to eat. And then there's what the kids who only eat fucking chicken nuggets eat.
Yeah, that's fair.
And so if I were to wear gloves, I'd still have to wash my hands, but like, I know you can wash your hands with gloves, and that is kind of the same. It's actually probably a little bit better, but and this is my autism, where it doesn't feel right, and it feels like that's not really working. So like, I have to just like barehand it.
You just got a raw dog with your hand.
Yeah, but I absolutely wash my hands when I'm cooking dinner. I wash my hands at least 10 times.
Oh,
because that's what you gotta do.
Oh my god. So, you know how Donald Trump's been going on about a stock market crash that isn't fucking happening because the Dow Jones isn't going down the way he keeps like pretending it is? So, apparently, Trump's media and technology group yesterday
was that
at
when
8 p.m.
was he able to sell?
Debate, I don't know if he was able to sell, but yesterday at 10 p.m. or 8 p.m. before the debate, he was sitting at about $18 a share.
It's 16 now.
And it's 16 now, and the exact
drop
point.
That is a huge drop.
fucking debate.
Oh, that's a massive fucking drop.
That's so
1922. $19.22 at 8 o'clock. $15.68 at 9:30. At 9:30 a.m. the next day.
Yep, just.
That's hilarious. I think that's coincidental because I think that's just timed with when he's allowed to sell his shares, and he's probably trying to sell shares ASAP.
God, it's funny though.
But yeah, that's fucking hilarious. Yeah. Anyway, they did fact check him on the eating the dogs, and this I want to play it because I think it just speaks to his mindset so much.
I just want to clarify here. You bring up Springfield, Ohio, and ABC News did reach out to the city manager there. He told us there have been no credible reports of specific claims of pets being harmed, injured, or abused by individuals within the immigrant community.
Well, I've seen people on television.
Let me just say here, this is the
people on television say my dog was taken and used for food. So maybe he said that, and maybe that's a good thing to say for a city manager.
I'm not taking this from
but
television.
But the people
I'm
on
taking it from
television
the city
saying their
manager.
dog was eaten by the people that went there.
I heard
Again,
it on
the Springfield
TV.
City manager says there's no evidence of that. Vice
We'll
President
find
Harris,
out.
I'll let you respond to the rest of what you've heard.
You talk about extreme.
I saw it on TV, so it's got to be true because the people on the television.
Be real. I saw
the people on the television said so. The people on the television said so. I saw it on the television.
TV. It was on TV. It was on TV.
Adam Broughton says, I make one meal for myself and I wash my hands at least 10 times because I'm touching uncooked meat and slicing vegetables. Yeah,
that's what you do.
Fair.
Because like if you're touching the uncooked meat and then you are like, let's say you're making a hamburger, right? And you get the hamburger out of the package, you put it in a bowl, and then you start cutting up your onions. If you're grabbing the knife with your sticky like burger fat covered hand and cutting your onions like that, I don't give a shit that all of that's going into the same bowl. I give a shit that it feels like I'm coating all of my utensils with slime. And that's fucking gross.
Oh, okay, so sometimes autism is a superpower. When I used to work in a restaurant, at one point they have to make staff meals for everybody, and and sometimes they would do extra, like they'd cut up fruit or something that we could just like quickly grab while we are working or whatever, like just grab a little square cube chunk of watermelon, pop it in our mouth as we're like running between things or whatever, so we don't have time to sit down and eat, so like just quick grab and go sort of things. And there was one day where the watermelon, everybody was like, oh, this doesn't taste right, I don't know what's wrong with this, but it's not good or whatever. And the chefs were like, they kind of had sly grins on their faces and were like, oh no, there's nothing wrong with the watermelon, it's just a watermelon, it was fine. And I was the only person that, like, I walked in, popped a piece of watermelon in my mouth, and was like, "Oh no, you just used a knife that you cut onions with to cut that watermelon." And they're like, "Yep, that's it." I was like, "Yeah,
Somebody
obviously. What, you got to wash your fucking knife? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Why did nobody else, like, everybody else picked up that something was wrong, but like, how did you not notice that was the thing that was wrong?" Dark Falcon says, I cook curry weekly and I wash my hands 10 plus times. Yep. Also, this was a place where all the head chef and most of the chefs that were working there were from India, and the staff meal 9 days out of 10 was curry of some kind or another. And that's actually, like, I like curry, but I can't eat it anymore because, like, for 5 years I was eating curry every day. I was just like, I'm over it.
Being anti-curry is weakness leaving the human race.
I'm not anti-curry. I will still eat curry. It's just like I don't enjoy curry because it's what I ate every day for 5 years. And like, they were good chefs, so it was good curry. Just not my thing after eating it every day for 5 years straight.
I can understand that.
Yeah.
Even if I don't agree.
You're like, okay, so you know what? There's one restaurant in Toronto that my partner is obsessed with, that they do a fucking amazing butter chicken. And it's like, even me, someone who is tired of curry from having eaten it for 5 years straight, like every day for 5 years straight, I still like, anytime we go to Toronto, she always takes me to that restaurant, and I will order the butter chicken. Like, the first time I ordered something that I thought wasn't curry, because I'm like, I'm over curry. I will eat something else. And then I accidentally ordered another curry that it was a different word that I didn't recognize.
You didn't realize it was curry.
So it's just a different kind of curry. So it's like, okay, whatever. It's still good. But then, like, I tried some of her butter chicken and was like, oh, fuck, this shit's amazing. And so, like, every time we've gone there since then, we're like, yep, no, I'll get the butter chicken. Don't like curry, but I love your butter chicken.
But you'll take the butter chicken.
It's amazing.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think it's just called Little India. So if you're ever in Toronto, Little India restaurant, get the butter chicken. It's fucking amazing. And I feel kind of bad about that, because on their menu, this is like they have a little parenthetical that's like, this is for people that can't handle Indian food. But it's so good, though.
At that point, it doesn't matter, though. It tastes
tastes good. It just tastes good.
As long as it tastes good, that's all that matters.
Back to the debate. I found this clip to be hilarious.
I fired most of those people. Not so graciously. They did bad things or a bad job. I fired them. They never fired one person. So when somebody does a bad job, I fire them. And you take a guy like Esper. He was no good. I fired him. So he writes a book. Another one writes a book. Because with me, they can write books. With nobody else can they. But they have done such a poor job, and they never fire anybody. Look at the economy. Look at the inflation. They didn't fire any of their economists. They have the same people. That's a good way not to have books written about you. But just to finish, I got more votes than any Republican in history by far.
So, does he think hiring bad people that needed to be fired later is a good thing?
Also, real quick, when he says that under me, they're allowed to write books, under no one else are they allowed to write books, kind of makes sense that he's hanging around so many fucking dictators.
It's not that they're allowed to write books. It's more that they, if you just let them keep their job, they're not going to write a book about how bad you are. Like, I get what he was going for there, but the way that came across was, I hire incompetent people that need to be fired. And given that he said, I hire the best people, only the best people, like, that just doesn't track.
It registered to me as, like, in other countries, you don't write a book about a person in power after you get fired because of what'll happen to you. But I mean, I'm so gracious because it doesn't happen with me.
But I mean, speaking of firing people,
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people.
Yep.
So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that.
I love that line. I love it. It's just chef's kiss. It's like the gentle parenting thing. Like, Donald, are you making bad choices right now?
You got fired by a lot of people, Donnie Pooh.
Are you having big feelings? I understand you're having big feelings, but you still have to make good choices, Donald.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like she's gentle parenting him, and it's fantastic. I am totally here for that.
Man,
that's my new kink, is watching Harris gentle parent Donald Trump.
Just watching Trump get humiliated.
I mean, watching Trump get humiliated has been my kink for a long time now.
That's entirely fair.
Watching Harris gentle parent him is a new kink.
A new kink unlocked. He's having trouble processing it. Understatement of the year.
Yeah, absolutely.
He doesn't quite realize he got fired by that many American citizens, but here we are.
Yeah. So now this is one that I misinterpreted originally. I'm just gonna play the clip, then I'll explain.
I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they say about me. They talk about democracy. I'm a threat to democracy. They're the threat to democracy with a fake Russia investigation
we do have a lot
that went nowhere.
We have a lot to get to. Lindsay?
I probably took the bullet to the head. I don't remember.
So yeah, that was the way I took that initially. Upon rewatching, it was no, I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things they were saying about me. But I still think this is worth bringing up because the reason, like, if he is actually sincere about thinking like, oh, the reason somebody shot at me is because they were saying I'm a threat to democracy,
Then maybe he shouldn't say Harris is a threat to democracy.
When he says that Harris is a threat to democracy, that can be nothing other than a call to violence. Because he now believes that calling someone a threat to democracy is a call to violence, because that's what got him shot. But the way that I originally read that was he's like, oh, I probably took a bullet to the head. I don't really remember. That was how I originally heard that. And so, like, I have, through this whole thing, I've just been like, okay, Occam's razor, so, like, the most, okay, somebody said to hydrate, so I need to
hydrate, or
I
you
need
will
to
dehydrate.
do the thing.
Thank you for the hydrate as well, Sylvie.
So the way I read that originally was that, and then there was a hat as well, so I'm gonna do Doggy Santa hat. So the way that I originally heard that was like, I probably took a bullet to the head, and I don't remember. And so, like, I have not been conspiratorially minded. I have not been like, oh well, it was staged or whatever. Like, I don't. Like, it just makes sense that someone would want to shoot Trump. And then, as it turns out, the guy that shot him didn't actually care who he was shooting at. He just wanted to shoot at someone. Like, that's basically my understanding of the situation. And the
president will do, or the ex-president will do.
Yeah, so it was a crime of opportunity. But when I heard him say that, I was like, oh, maybe the blood that we saw was not from the bullet. Maybe that was from, like, he ducked down and, like, scraped something on the wooden floor of the stage that he was on or something. Like, he didn't actually get shot. He just hurt himself in the process of ducking. And it's like, if it was his ear, like, sure, it was his ear. Ears bleed a lot without much. Like, you just nick the thing, it bleeds forever because there's a lot of blood vessels there. So it wouldn't take much to produce the amount of blood that we saw. So he could have just, like, knocked it on the podium on the way down. As, because, like, that was my initial read on that, was like, I probably got shot in the head.
You're just running through all the ways that could possibly make sense.
But yeah, no, it's still, Occam's razor still says that he got shot in the ear. Although, like, if you look at his ear, there is zero evidence of any actual, like, permanent damage. So it wasn't much of a shot. But still, I've never been shot at, so I'm not going to pretend like I wouldn't shit my pants if somebody shot a gun at me and it, like, came so close to hitting my head that my ear got nicked. Like, that would terrify me. I would shit my pants. Fine, whatever. I'll give it to him. But the way he said that had me thinking that, like, he didn't actually get shot. He just hurt himself on the way down as he was ducking. And I thought that was funny. But, you know, if he actually thinks that them calling him a threat to democracy is a call to violence, then he has explicitly made calls to violence against Harris. Anyway, Secular Storm Chaser for $10 said, sorry, watching from the very beginning. I want to say Harris' response to the climate change was very weak, saying we're supporting green energy, then saying we're increasing domestic oil. Yeah, I didn't really appreciate her answers on fracking or whatever. I would rather she just say that fracking is a no-no.
The thing is, she can't say fracking is a no-no. Also,
not as a presidential candidate, no.
Also, even if she weren't a presidential candidate, getting rid of fracking is not good because our medical industry relies on it. Like, our medical industry relies on the plastics industry. The plastics industry relies on the fracking industry because it is the runoff from the fracking.
It sucks, but...
Like, it is unfortunately, as of right now, the nature of the beast of how these industries have grown.
As someone who does not need to win the popular vote, I am perfectly free to say fracking fucking sucks and it should be banned. Harris is not free to say that because she wants to actually win, and honestly, like, if for no other reason than keeping Donald Trump out of the White House, she should win. And I'm fine. Yeah. I'm fine saying that. But yeah.
I can understand that perspective.
Even if we disagree with her. Let's see, where were we? Oh, here we go. This is another fun one.
Now she wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison.
What?
We're transing the illegal aliens in prison.
So
have you? Do you know where this comes from?
I don't know where this comes from, but I have a follow-up after you give me context.
I know where it comes from. First, the Morbid Place... I'm sorry. Morbid Palace cheered 40 bits. I don't think it came with a message. Oh, yeah. kissy face. So yeah, thank you for that. Yeah, so no, the context in that, it's actually not entirely false, believe it or not. So what that comes from is in when she was a senator, she filled out a survey or whatever that was like questioning people about, one of the things was trans rights. And it's not that she said, I want to perform trans surgeries on illegal alien prisoners. It was, would you support gender affirming surgery on people that are on healthcare plans that are paid for by the government? And the answer was yes.
Yeah, that's
and people
reasonable.
That are in prison, their healthcare is paid for by the government. And if you are an illegal immigrant who is in prison, your healthcare is paid for by the government. So it's a massive stretch, but it's not technically untrue.
I can kind of understand that. Now, I will say my favorite part about that statement,
are the memes?
However,
because the memes are fucking awesome.
The memes that have come out has been great. There was one moment. I know you haven't seen One Piece, and you likely will never have the time to sit down and watch One Piece.
Probably not. No.
So, spoiler alert for the Impel Down arc in One Piece. So there's a moment in One Piece where the main character Luffy has to go like invade a prison to try to find his brother who's been taken by the world government. There is a character in there who in the prison who has the ability called hormone control. Their power is to turn their fingers into needles and shove them into anyone, even themselves, and inject various hormones into their body. These hormones can be a fuck ton of adrenaline, healing hormones, or most usually transgender hormones. There's a point in time where one of the prison guards tries to go against them, and that character looks at them and goes, "Oh, I know what the problem is." Shoves her fingers, the character bounces between male and female throughout the series. So, shoves their fingers into that person's chest, pumps them full of female hormones, and then hands a mirror and just goes, "Okay, how do you feel about your true self?" And everybody that was posted in response to the debate, because they're like, I think this is the only transing in the prison system that we're really like knowledgeable of. Is this happening?
Yeah. Like this is one of those things where like I don't see it happening frequently enough that it would actually be a problem. It's like the way Trump said it, it's like this is the goal, to make every illegal immigrant a trans person for some reason. I don't even know what the purpose of that would be.
Don't know.
Like, yeah, no, hot take, prisoners deserve human rights and medical care, and like gender affirming care saves lives. And even if you're a prisoner, if you've got gender dysphoria and gender affirming care is going to save your life, I'm fine with that. But yeah, the idea, like the way he's phrasing that makes it sound like we're sending all the people to prison and then making them trans, and that will make them Democrats.
They're transing the prisoners like they turned the frogs gay.
Sure.
It's awful. It's horrible. My best friend Tucker Carlson told me it was real.
So somebody,
he was the man on the TV.
So back to my exploration of sexuality. Someone posted, like when I came out on my main channel, someone posted a comment that was like, "Oh, in one of your previous videos, you were like, my call to action for patrons on my main channel is like, I always do ridiculous things and I call them ridiculous things. Like it's something relevant to the video." And one of them was like, my patrons are the chemicals that turn the frogs gay. If you would like to change my sexuality, you can join us on Patreon. And someone was like, given that you've come out with a different sexuality than you've been presenting this entire time now, that hits different. Like
somebody did pay for you to change your sexuality.
Somebody paid enough for me to suck a dick, apparently.
Obviously. I mean, What do you think happened there?
I could say what happened there, but we'd both be demonetized.
Hey, look, I learned that it wasn't gay to suck my girlfriend's dick, okay?
And that's fine. This was a fun one.
Putin would be sitting in Kyiv with his eyes on the rest of Europe, starting with Poland. And why don't you tell the 800,000 Polish Americans right here in Pennsylvania how quickly you would give up for the sake of favor and what you think is a friendship with what is known to be a dictator who would eat you for lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's why the dictators love Trump. It's not because he's actually good at what he does. It's because he's so easy to manipulate. So fucking easy.
Yup. It's just, you do not want the person in power who is buddying up to Kim Jong-un and to Putin. As not the person you want in power if you look at the history of what those other leaders have done.
Yeah.
Or the present of what they are currently doing. Fuck if I care.
And
like the same thing.
Along the same lines.
Understanding that the alliances we have around the world are dependent on our ability to look out for our friends and not favor our enemies because you adore strongmen instead of caring about democracy. And that is very much what is at stake here. The President of the United States is commander-in-chief, and the American people have a right to rely on a president who understands the significance of America's role and responsibility in terms of ensuring that there is stability and ensuring we stand up for our principles and not sell them for the benefit of personal flattery.
Yeah, so that's one of the most powerful moments of the debate, where she calls him out for being so weak that someone just saying, hey, I really like you, you're a strong guy, can completely change his mind and make him change policy to benefit that person.
Yep.
And, Jas is saying it's a polycule between Trump, Putin, Kim, and Xi. So the thing I was trying to remember earlier, one of the things that they fact checked on Kamala Harris that really pissed me off was when she called, when she said that Trump has exchanged love letters with Kim Jong-il or Kim Jong-un. And they called that false because we don't actually know the contents of the letters that he exchanged with Kim Jong-un. It's like, okay, yeah, no, we don't actually know the fucking context of we don't know the exact contents of the letter, but he fucking came out and said, oh yeah, we like love each other, we're like lovers in a sitcom, or whatever the fuck he said. Like, he basically said they were love letters. So like, that is Trump's fucking words. Yes, they were fucking love letters. Like, even like, he admitted as much. So like, fuck off with this, we don't know the exact contents. He said they were love letters. But like, those are the kinds of fact checks that Harris got because she was actually telling the truth for most of it. And the things she got wrong were things that were like, I can understand why you got that wrong, given that you weren't allowed to have notes with you.
It was weird they weren't allowed to have notes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that one is, I've never heard of a debate where you're not allowed to have notes.
Okay.
That one's kind of weird.
This is running a bit late, and we still have another news item to go to, and then some tweets. So I'm going to skip some of these quotes, but there are a couple that I want to play. They're short ones. I edited this clip slightly, just disclaimer, but I feel like it kind of captures the essence of the clip. So let's just watch this.
And I think the American people want better than that. Want better than this.
What you just pointed to all of me. Yes, that's it. Stop being all of you.
Oh. So my kids are super duper into How to Train Your Dragon right now. So when she said that, that was my thought, was Hiccup saying, but you just gestured to all of me. It's like, yeah,
yes,
exactly. That's the point. So yeah, I had to throw that in there. And of course, we would be remiss if we did not play this clip.
So just a yes or no, you still do not have a plan?
I have concepts of a plan.
I got concepts.
I got concepts, baby. I got a concept of a plan.
Concepts, baby.
I have an idea of what I might do, maybe, possibly.
I know what
he's had 9 fucking years to come up with a replacement for Obamacare, and he's got nothing. He's got concepts of a plan. Fuck you.
I know what it might look like if I were to do my job. But that's really hard.
And they're fucking calling out Harris for not having any firm policy decisions. Like, yeah, she didn't lay out much in the debate, but like $50,000 tax credit or a tax deduction for new businesses. Are you leaving me now, Puddles? Are you leaving? $6,000 tax credit for people with a new child. And there was something else in there as well that was like a specific policy thing. And then, like, he also called them out for, like, the student loan forgiveness. They tried to get student loan forgiveness gone. And then the Supreme Court justices that he bragged about putting there to get rid of Roe versus Wade said, no, you can't do the student loan forgiveness thing. And then he was acting as though that was a Biden failure and not the people that he put in power blocking Biden's shit specifically to benefit him. What are you doing, dog? Okay. So... yeah, no, it's just a bit ridiculous. Anyway, we're still staying on the debate, and if you'll recall, I was a little bit peeved at the whole fact-checking Kamala Harris thing when she was not actually lying all that much. I mean, like, okay, to be fair, they both dodged questions. Kamala dodged questions. Trump dodged every single question. But, like, that's normal politics shit. And I kind of get it, and it's annoying. Also, like, this is kind of what the debate felt like.
You want a sword fight, man? Come on, I'll sword fight you, man. I'll sword fight you. You sword fight me?
That's not actually what it felt like. I just still have that button, and I felt like playing that, so...
You needed us to see it.
Hey, just wanted to give a quick thank you to all of my wonderful patrons who help keep me afloat and help keep this channel going. YouTube and Twitch are wonderful platforms, but at the end of the day, stability is not one of their strong suits. If you want to support my channel, then obviously Patreon is one of the best ways of doing that. Link is in the description. But I do want to personally thank everybody who has contributed to the channel. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Briskreek, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Autumn and Angel, Nixie Chan, Agamotto, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fireshard. And everyone else who supports my channel and lets me do what I do full time. This is a dream job of mine that I never believed that I would be able to take full time, and with your help, I've been able to do it. So thank you so very much for that. Thank you for watching the video. I hope you all enjoy, and I hope you all are having a wonderful time. I will see you all in the next one, hopefully.